In today's video, I'm building a cafe with an apartment above it. Now you might be wondering, Reese's, that's a pretty random thing to build. What's the occasion? To mark the beginning of my new town series. That is right, guys. In 2023, I built 3 different towns, and much to my regret, I deleted all of them. So I thought we might as well start a whole new town series. And what better to begin with than a cafe? You guys know I love my food. I just want to munch. Now, because this will be a new series, I need you guys to comment down below what buildings you want to see in my town, and the top comments will get put in the next video. So let's get started. So the first thing that we need to do is pick a plot. I was personally thinking these up here should be houses, and then all of the shops and things should be down here. And I think this one here is perfect for a corner cafe. You know, right as you're leaving town, you're gonna want to pick up your coffee.
Let me get 2 Big Macs and 2 apple pies, a little bit of Sprite in the side of fries.
So I'm thinking we want to maximize our space, but we also want to make sure we have room for seating outside, and then the cafe along. And then as for the little apartment at the top, to add a little bit of texture and depth, I'm actually like pushing it in by 1. So before we pop the windows and decorate the outside, we're gonna need to work out like the layout of the cafe. So every good cafe needs kitchens and toilets. So I'm thinking maybe we have the sinks on this side and then 3 cubicles, but we've still got to have like a mini kitchen behind that. Now, part of me is wondering if we could maybe extend the cafe out. It is the first building in the town and we're already changing things. But you know, we should start as we mean to go on. On the bright side, it adds a little bit more depth to the build. And then we're also gonna need a way to get up to the apartment. And I think the easiest way to do this is just gonna be using a modern elevator. Let's get the window one, and then we can pop like a window on that wall. But there we go, this is the cafe outline. It looks mental, chicken oriental. But the next thing we need to do is pop in the roof. Now, is it just me who's thinking we need a flat roof? Like, this is perfect. And next, we need to decide what textures we're having. So last time I built a town, we did not have half the textures that we had today. I'm loving this plank design, but what in God's name is going on here? Like, why is that not lining up? So maybe we could use this sage green panels with some old classic planks. And are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? A balcony on these 2? Absolutely. Like, what is more superior than owning your own cafe in Reese's town, but then having your own balcony so you can look over the town? Obviously, we don't want to get any lawsuits from the city council, so we're gonna have to pop some railings on here. Look at these bad boys! When were these added? So now it's gonna be windows, and I'm thinking grand, like a Parisian style. So we're gonna have a large window like that, and just over the top we're gonna add a little archway. I mean, she does look a little bit chunky, like she'd be eating a bit too many burgers.
I like them chunky.
To add another little bit of flavor, I have a building hack with Reese's. Yeah, we haven't done a building hack with Reese's in a while because Reese's has been running out of building hacks. But basically, what I'm thinking of doing is getting a grand pillar and resizing it up to like outline the window. And with a little wall trim to sweeten the deal, that looks really unique. For the other pillars, I'm basically just gonna be using fins. Sorry, I'm going down basic alley today. And the one thing that is difficult about building in towns is you have to build at angles quite a lot. And building at angles is actually the bane of my existence. But to be fair, it's a small price to pay for such a gorgeous result. So speaking of wall trims, like we were a minute ago, I'm thinking we should just have these ones. And for that cartoony effect, I'm gonna add these ones all the way around. And look at me side-eyeing this, I'm like, wow, girl, that looks good. Part of me thinks we should defo copy and paste this window over here. This is actually like where our glass elevator's gonna go. Oh wow, practical and beautiful. Absolutely love that. So I think it's high time we look up on Pinterest. Oh, and as I'm looking up Pinterest, by the way, this is where I got the inspo for my town layout. I think it was just on Reddit, but I've basically just looked up cafe seating outside. It's like a skate park. But this is more what I was looking for. So I'm thinking with plant boxes in between. Now, rather than going into garden and searching up some basic plant pot, I actually think we should be making our own custom plant pots based off of this pillar. So it sounds really tricky, but it's going to be easy as a slice of pie. So basically, we're just going to copy this layered design that we have going on the bottom. And now that we've got the actual structure in, we just have to add the panels, which is going to be so easy. Definitely not already messed it up. Now, as I'm placing this, I have the funniest story to tell you guys. So I left school 2 years ago, which you might think, wow, you're well old. In England, we leave normal school at 16, then we go to college. But anyway, I was in a cafe and I ran into one of my old teachers, and it was like the most awkward thing ever. And you know when you can literally feel the burning awkwardness in a situation? Like, he was just asking me about like my life, and I was just like, I love Roblox.
A few minutes later.
And there we go, guys. After that long story time, I finally got this. So it does take about 5 minutes to make, but I definitely think it's worth it. So I'm basically just going to be using the normal plants, but resizing them down. So I think those ones in the middle look good. And then I definitely want some tulips. And I've got myself into a bit of a pickle here, guys. But there we go. I feel like that was a lot of work for...
I'm so angry!
Really? Editing Reese's here. I decided to spare you the pain of the 15 minutes it took me to build some plant pots. But I suppose nothing worth fighting for is ever easy. Wow, that was really motivational. But there we go. We've got the plant pots in. So, oh yeah, okay. They were like sort of netted chairs. Now, do I really want to make netted chairs? Not really. But I'm just going to first of all get out a patio table because I feel like these glass tables go absolutely majestically in the middle of these. I do kind of wish we could resize them, but then the smaller size, like, what is that? That's midget. If I was going to make a netted chair, it would probably have to be based off this one. Should I just do it? Should I just do it for the plot line? And to be fair, I think I'm actually making a bit of a ruckus about nothing. I think it's actually going to be pretty easy.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
That is the worst chair ever, and it's not even copy and paste. Why do I bother? Get out of my sight. Get out of my sight. Anyway, we're definitely going to add some more flowers here. I think flowers are so beautiful. Like, if I go to a cafe, I'm expecting at least 500 flowers. And also, I'm just going to be adding the placemats on here before I copy and paste. And we're going to have it set up very fancy, like Ritz style. You're going to have a little coffee cup on top of your plate. I've just realized the entry is kind of uneven. So let's sort that out next by just making all of this concrete. We might as well just match it with the road, mightn't we, to save hassle. And I've been filming for half an hour and I haven't even added a front door yet. So I definitely think French doors are going to be our best option. And you know what I just said about just using the proper items? Definitely not about to make custom doors. I promise you, this is the last thing I'm going to do custom. But I just thought it would look much better to have a doorway that actually fits behind the pillars. And to be fair, who can get custom doors wrong? So basically, you just grab a sheet of glass like this, and I recommend making it a crazy color like purple, just so you can actually see what you're doing with it. And as I say, it's very, very simple. You just outline the sides with a thick beam. And I haven't changed my mind on the French style. And then I think we should have one door open like that, and then the other one like swung right open so you can actually fit in. And to be fair, guys, you gotta admit, that one was worth it. So the rest of the windows might actually surprise you.
Surprise, surprise!
Might be thinking I'm going to be going for a very classy factory, or maybe even like some netting. But no, we're actually going to be delving into the world of modern and making some full glass windows. And yes, I'm being a cheapskate in using the clear ones. No, you're not going to judge me. And oh gosh, I forgot the toilets were there. We probably shouldn't have them going into the toilets. That's a bit sus. Then we'll also have some up there. And we cannot forget, this is obviously a balcony. So I guess we could use these same doors. We can just add that in for now. Lobbly jobbly. So just before we go in, there's a few last touches we might as well add. Now the first one is going to involve decals. Since we've done so much custom, we might as well use some decal vines. And this is the one I found. It's actually so cute. So I guess we want it to be nice and long. And the best part about decals, I forgot. You can like resize the length. And I'm very much aware what I'm about to do is incredibly over the top. I'm definitely not adding a wall of LED lights down the side. Okay, but you've got to admit, that was the cherry on the cake. That is Café Les Rices. And they're actually really aesthetic. And just for a tip of the iceberg, I added some beams around the roof. So now we have the interior to work with. And I almost forgot that we have a little apartment up here as well. So we never actually decided what the layout of the apartment was going to be. So it'd probably be wise to decide that now. And I always recommend putting a floor down before you do any designs. But I do actually care a little bit about security here, so you're not going to be able to just walk straight into my apartment, I'm afraid. And it's mainly going to be open plan, and then just this, the bedroom here, I thought the bathroom here was just so perfect. And I mean, it wouldn't hurt to put the wall trims in now, but I am definitely going to start the cafe first. And I love how the view out of the bedroom window is just going to be like onto the side of another building. But anyway, Reese's, enough jibber jabbering. Let's actually start with the cafe. So the first thing I've done is just very, very simple. I'm basically just popping these pillars in. Now, if you guys are thinking of something to buy in Bloxburg, I honestly think the color wheel is the best option. After advanced placement, the color wheel. Like, look at these beautiful custom shades that you just simply can't get if you don't have the wheel. Also, flooring wise, I thought about adding checkered marble, and I thought no. Then I thought about adding plain checkers, like with no texture, and suddenly laugh was good. And it looks really weird in build mode, but if you want to see what things look like outside of build mode without actually leaving build mode, just press H. It turns the grid off, and I think this looks really nice. Like, So pastel, so cute. If anything, we could actually get away with having some windows along here as well. Now, I have not built a cafe in such a long time. I've almost forgot how to like make the serving desk. But I guess we'll start off by having an island like that. And when I was a kid, I always used to be so fascinated by like the trap doors that waitresses would go behind. So I'm gonna be blimmin' adding a trap door, okay, to live my childhood dreams. So we need to make it flappy, but we also need to make it like you can actually walk through it. Oh, do you know what? We'll just do a fence instead.
You how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Next thing's next, we're gonna need a door going into the toilet, which is actually a little bit tight, but if we do it like this, maybe that works. Yeah, that looks fine. And since I feel like I've put so much effort into this build, I am gonna go ahead and actually take that extra step and fill up these cabinets. We'll have some bowls, we'll have some mini plates, and then we'll have some mugs. And is it just me who's thinking, why the hell does that door look so weird in the middle? Would it look better if I put a cabinet above it? Maybe, actually. We'll just switch the door. Think smarter, not harder. And this update must have been one of the best ones for build mode, where they organize things. Because before I used to say, guys, search up kitchen, but it only comes up with actually a few things. And obviously we don't want too much useless junk out. And then of course, we've actually got to go into the appliances themselves, because if this town is gonna be practical, like I'm probably gonna open this to all of you guys when it's done. Like I'm gonna need to be able to serve you. So we've got to have a blender, a toaster as well. And I sneakily put some marble here, guys, because I just thought that is absolutely necessary. I'm actually going to be adding some stools. You can like sit at the bar in the middle of the day. Now, another very important thing about a cafe is you've got to have a good menu. I am someone who actually reads the menus, guys. If you don't have a good menu, then what is the point in coming to your restaurant? Jeez, $10 for toast. I get that for 1p out of my cupboard. And I'm actually going to add some booths with my tables. So, oh my gosh, this is flooding back all the memories from when I used to do this. Basically, you just grab a couple of the reclining sofa set. And I'm actually going to be using the restaurant tables. I really don't like these, but you've got to give it to them. They are the perfect width. Another form of table you can do if you're building a cafe for yourself is a console table. Now, I recommend using one that like doesn't have lines underneath it. For example, a traditional. And yes, mustard and syrup. That is exactly what I need with my coffee. And is that even syrup? I think that might even be brown sauce. That is repulsive. Anyway, we could probably get away with having another booth over in this corner. And of course, I've changed the color. I'm not a monster. Don't you worry. And then finally, we're going to be adding like some single tables, because obviously cafes are like quite cute places to go for dates. I went on a date to a cafe once. It ended. And we're gonna add 3 of these. Oh my gosh, imagine just 3 dates back to back. But there we go. I think that's as many chairs as we can add now without it being like overcrowded. So I think maybe a pendant above each of those tables. Now I do like linen. That is looking so nice. But I already can see the comments like Reese's, the lighting's ruined it. So I'm gonna pop a few flint ones in here. But there we go. So toilets are gonna be easy as pie. In fact, I'm actually gonna do the downstairs toilet with the upstairs toilets. And then, oh my gosh, I did not mean to bring all of this with it. Basically, we're just gonna have 3 luxury counters. And I think to make it much easier for myself, we're just gonna have 3 luxury counters with 3 luxury illuminated mirrors. And obviously, we're gonna be doing a similar thing up here. Now, we do need to actually like put this sensibly because it's not a big bathroom. And then as for the plumbing in here, we're obviously just gonna have to use one like this. But Defo still think we should use the ring light though. And I'm making sure we never run out of toilet roll up here. Let's just pretend like you're a really nervous person and you don't want to go down and serve the customers. So you have to stay up here for many, many weeks. You are not going to want to run out of toilet paper, are you? And while we're up in the apartment, we might as well get it done. I mean, we are going to have a dining table because, you know, when it's maybe Christmas, you might have to have the famalam over. And if you guys have been watching a lot, you'll know my new favorite chair is the transitional one. Bloxburg panel codes. That is not how you spell panel, Reese's. There we go. And oh my gosh, look at the comment. Alaska Violet used this, I think, or it could have been True Reese's. Yes, I have used this before. I will be using it again. I'm just going to eradicate these windows quickly just so we can snap the counters in. And oh my gosh, I'm accidentally buying loads of Bloxburg things. I do not need another coffee machine.
And are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Island bench.
So next up, we have the little sitting area, and I'm going to make it really classy. You might have been able to tell from my choice of lamp, but we're not really even going to have many places to sit. It's mainly going to be like this piano and then like a couple of armchairs.
A few minutes later.
And there we go. I think that's the cutest little apartment. We've obviously still got the bedroom to do. I imagine it to be like a cute couple who lives here. So we're just going to give them like a reasonable bed. If you're running like a sort of business, you're probably going to need a desk as well. So I think it might make sense to add a desk up in the corner and then maybe some closets wrapping around. So I'm actually going to keep it this brown color. I really am I'm digging that. And then as for the decorations, it's normally the same on here. We'll just have a pen and paper. And I was just trying a little something new by putting lamps inside of the flowers. Failure. But there we go. That's the apartment done. I cannot wait to go and view that. But the final thing left is the kitchen, which I guess can also have the subway tiles because it's not going to be no usual kitchen. We're going to be using the commercial counters. These do not often come out of the woodwork, but obviously today they need to. And we cannot forget, I think there's also a commercial sink. Yes. And with that, guys, the cafe in my new town is done. Let's go visit. Okay, chickens. So here we are outside of it. And something I didn't mention at the beginning of the video is I need you guys to comment down below the name you think we should call this town. Because right now it's just called apostrophe, apostrophe, apostrophe. But it's already worth almost $300,000 with just one measly cafe. But it is quite the cafe. From these gorgeous seating, the actual architecture of the build, I'm genuinely so proud of what I came up with here. It's definitely got that French feel to it, which we so desperately wanted. So if you were just strolling along the high street, you could genuinely just walk in here and take a seat. Although I feel like this would be so very exclusive, you would have to book. But as we walk through the doors, ding, 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 here we are inside. And it is just a pastel dream. I mean, if you love pastel, you're gonna love it here. What you're not gonna love is that. We have some big seats. Maybe if you're coming here with like your family for a birthday breakfast or something. Then we obviously have the dating seats and then just the friend seats. Now, if we go behind here, this is where the waitresses and waiters and managers would all be. And I normally forget toilets when I do cafes, but I really want this town to be like so much effort. So yeah, that is the downstairs. But of course, we didn't stop there. We then went ahead and made an apartment above the building. So you get to look out this gorgeous window as you go upstairs and I did forget to color in here, but this is the apartment. So we have this really nice kitchen over here. We also have a really nice dining room and a lounge room. And it's actually pretty spacious when you walk in here. Like, if anything, it almost feels a bit bigger than the cafe. And finally, a bedroom, which is just a Paris dream. So there we have it, guys. That was the cafe. If you guys liked it, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.